What's happening? Welcome all you wonderful people. It is 7 p.m. and that means that because it's a Thursday, it is Thursday Night Pint here on Redmen TV. We're going to be looking back on the Wolves win. We're going to be seeing how we feel about life, the universe and everything as a result of that. We're going to be talking through the best ever Liverpool wins over Manchester United and somehow managing to hone that down into a top 5. And we're also going to be previewing Liverpool versus United as well. Huge game on the horizon at the weekend. And it's going to be me and some wonderful guests in the studio to talk about all of those things. Don't forget, if you're watching at home right now, that you can interact with the show by using the YouTube live chat. If you're a Club Legend subscriber over on redmenplus.com, you can use the Discord. I've already posed the questions for the Man United stuff already, but I'll leave it to you now. Hit me with some of the best Liverpool wins over Manchester United in the comments, and any good comments around that, and we'll read some out throughout the show and that kind of stuff. But yes, before we introduce our guests, let's take a look back to the week in Liverpool and cast your minds back to what feels like an absolute age ago. The weekend, Saturday, I think. Yeah, where Liverpool trialled a brand new cure for insomnia at Selhurst Park, playing out an absolutely snooze-inducing 0-0 draw with Crystal Palace. Yay, that made us feel so good, so good about life. Sunday saw former Liverpool goalkeeper Loris Karius under the spotlight once again. A huge story in potential with two massive potential outcomes. A sliding doors moment of a game of football. Would the former Liverpool goalie go through another absolute torrid affair, costing another English side in huge, unforgivable fashion in a cup final? Or the alternative, a redemption story that would leave Andy Dufresne happy to crawl through another tunnel of human excrement? Which of those two inevitable outcomes would it be? Sky were desperate to know the answer. Desperate! Yeah, it turns out there's a third option, which is just he had an absolutely fine game of football, which, all things considered, hindsight being what it is, probably would have been the more sensible option back in 2018 in Kiev. Yes, moving things forward, Virgil van Dijk was named in the FIFA Best 11 of the year, single-handedly laying him out once again as the best centre-half on the planet. And if you don't believe me, all you've got to do is look at the team that they threw together for that. He's in a back three alongside João Cancelo and Hakimi. There's a midfield with Casemiro, Modric, De Bruyne, and then it's a front four of Mbappe, Haaland, Benzema, and Messi. So effectively, they've decided to create a team that is very much the physical manifestation in football terms of the fella who just decides to skip leg day, basically. So yeah, if you don't think Virgil van Dijk's good enough, he is the only centre-back that they chose in a team. That's how good he is. You only need one centre-half in a team like that, when that one centre-half is Virgil van Dijk. We also saw on transfer news front, Indy Kyler, friend of the show, tweet that Liverpool could have £300 million to spend this summer. I'm not saying I don't think we should get our hopes up or whatever, but it did remind me weirdly of the story that my wife told me about her time as a kid when her dad took her and her brothers and sisters to Birmingham for a night out, promised them they had a special night on the horizon. They drove by the NEC and they were convinced that they were going to watch ITV's Gladiators. Absolutely convinced. What a wonderful moment that was going to be. They got really excited, and then it turned out they were just going to watch the Nutcracker instead. Absolutely devastating. And if you want to get sucked into that, by all means, feel free and knock yourselves out. We'll believe it when we see it. Mohamed Salah in positive news for the mighty Reds, equalled Ian Rush's record of scoring 20 goals in 6 consecutive seasons for the Reds, proving that the one season washed wonder is obviously absolutely anything but. He's just brilliant, and he is ours, very much so. And finally, Liverpool decided to finally beat Wolverhampton Wanderers at the 4,721st attempt of the season. A wonderful 2-0 win that gave us all back that wonderful sense of positivity. Liverpool now 4 unbeaten, 4 consecutive clean sheets in the Premier League. And yeah, ultimately, we're feeling very, very good about things. How good are we feeling about things? Well, let me introduce our guests. Let's see how they're doing. Let me know your thoughts, how you're doing in a live show chat. First and foremost, let me bring into the show who's sitting there? It is the wonderful, the magical Mr. Ste Paul. Woo! You wanted this music. I want. Is that all you're bringing? Come on,
let's go. We go again. I love that tune. Yeah, Joe, give me a selection of music to pick. Right, it was a little bit superhero-y, but also a little bit 90s pop.
Yeah,
and I think that's a Venn diagram I can live within.
Yeah, yeah.
Superhero fan, 90s pop fan. It's the or in the middle.
Ooh. Sexy sandwich.
It's beautiful.
Right, cool. Speaking of someone else who likes sandwiches sexy or otherwise, it's my business partner in crime. It is the wonderful Mr. Chris Pager!
Hello, mate. Your music is a little bit, I don't know, like holiday when you get on an aeroplane.
I'm slightly concerned that Andre's a flight risk, to be honest.
He's nervous.
We need to get him in quickly, because this is a man, our guest, who's coming in, who's got 5 kids and a hotel booked. He might be, if we don't bring him in soon, in bed in 20 minutes.
Right, sounds okay. Well, let's not fuck around anymore. Then let's bring in our final guest for this week. It is the CEO of Verge Magazine, and just all round influencer superstar himself, Mr. Andre Dixon. Woo! Woo!
Yeah. Hello, mate.
Yeah, superb. Well done, Chris. Smooth.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I could be getting extra sleep here.
Yeah, absolutely. As every man, and woman, to be fair, who's got kids and perhaps arguably too many of them, an opportunity to have a little bit of time away. Yeah, is not to be sniffed at. Today, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it's surreal me being here, because I'm such a big fan of you guys, and I've been watching you guys, as you know. I've probably told you ad nauseum 50,000 times that I've watched you guys from pretty much the start. Thank you, Mr. Hodgson. Otherwise, I would have never met with these guys. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers. Absolutely. So we're going to talk through.
Enjoy your Heineken.
Yeah, genuine feelings and what have you. Around things at the minute. Look, I'll start with you. Life just feels better after a win, and that's where we're at right now. Is that we can't guarantee that Liverpool are going to put together this amazing run of form. So we almost you've kind of got to enjoy the wins when they come, because you never know when the next one will.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've gone from the roller coaster of emotions this season, from being like, we're definitely going to do it again, this is our season, to, oh my God, what the hell's going on, to pretty much hiding away and not even talking about football during the NFL season. Thank God for that. But, yesterday felt like, we had a bit more momentum, a bit more us. But I was saying that, it's one game, because a little while ago, anyone who follows me saw my despair when it came to the Palace game. I pretty much was like, what in heaven's name is going on? Because we just looked lost. But this team looked a lot more, cohesive. Fabinho looks like he's back in form. So all pointing in the right direction, because we need to win on Sunday.
See, as a football fan, I feel quite schizophrenic almost at the moment. Like, the results are completely changing my outlook on not only life, but this football team as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going from, yeah, we're going to make top four to, no, what are you thinking about? We haven't even got 40 points yet. We're not safe. And this is genuinely how I feel at the moment. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, how can the football team do this to you on a weekly basis?
Yeah. No, it's true. There was
39, if anyone's wondering. That's how many points we're on now. We're nearly safe.
Oh,
closing in on the magic 40 points. Yeah, no, it's true. But that's right, isn't it? The results change perspectives on things in a huge way. They just do. You know, we said we were half cut on Saturday watching the game, the Palace game, but yeah, okay. Well, no, at the time watching the game after the game.
Paul, I was trying to do one-armed cartwheels on the dance floor, if you remember, towards the end of the night.
And I was watching you drinking WKD Blue. The
half cup was
yeah. By the end of the night, but you know, but trying to like reasonably console it, like, well, look, the draw's not the worst thing. We've not lost, that's fine, but it all depends on the result that follows. But even then, like 45 minutes, Anfield was grouchy in midweek. It was very grouchy, and it was such a blessed relief that not only did we had the goal disallowed, that we got the goal, we finally scored the first goal, Van Dijk, but they really fought for it and they really wanted it, because I don't know what you were doing the shows in here, but I was mentally running back and forth in my head. I was like, what, you know, there was two possible outcomes almost. It was like, we're either going to win this and this is all going to be great and we'll bounce out. But if we don't, I don't even know how I'm going to react. I don't want to talk about Liverpool. I don't want to do anything. They were in danger of breaking my spirit. And then all of a sudden, we scored 3 goals and everything feels absolutely sound.
Yeah, it was a strange one, because I actually thought we played quite well. But I'm like Chris, I keep caveating things, because every time we get one, it's like, yeah, but the games we played really well in, we had a 15-minute spell at Newcastle before their goalie got sent off, and then we beat Everton and Wolves, and Everton and Wolves are shit. So you're meant to beat Everton and Wolves at home. That's just a given. Well, it's like Chris said, you're getting such endorphins and an adrenaline rush. Me and Ella by the end of the stream were just giggling and laughing like little kids. We're like, oh my god, Liverpool are winning, and there's 10 mintes to go, and we're not worried that we're going to lose a game anymore. How mad's this? There's no like real drama within this. So it's just, I feel again, if it's almost like, you know, you've been in the desert and you found that glass of water, like fucking hell, how amazing. Usually you just see a glass of water and drink it, you're like, to win against Wolves, 3 points.
Don't drink it all now, you idols there going, what? You drank the whole pint,
Honestly, yeah.
What about me?
Well, it was exactly that. So, but like, what I would say is that I've said Liverpool this season, it's been like a bit of fool's gold at times. You just about think, oh yeah, that's us, and then you get closer and it's not. But I actually think of all the wins we've had recently, that was the most like professional. It was easy, that. Yeah. Like, Wolves didn't do anything. Liverpool were good defensively, and it's mad, that, isn't it? Like, you know, if you don't give them anything, at some point, I always say, someone in our team will do something boss, and something will work out for you. And in the end, obviously, it's the goal. It's Jota really who does something, you know, setting Van Dijk up with that one. So after, you know, another bald man grafted us in.
Honestly, oh my god, yeah, I can't, because it just feels like bullying at this point. But like,
I can say
talking about the ref. No, I mean the ball thing. You're right. That's entirely on you to say that about Paul Tierney. I can just say shite, and that's my major bugbear with him. He can do whatever he wants with his hair. He can plait it into his pubes if he wants. He's not going to be rubbish at refereeing. Like, you know what I mean? I really don't care. He's terrible, genuinely terrible. But Paul Tompkins did an article about this and saying, like, our win rate when he's referee is 50%, which is like significantly lower than it is with any other referee. Cities is like,
I wonder what the win rate was when Hodgson was in charge and he was a referee, because it could be like 10% or something.
I found it like, and I think Dave made a good point before, like when the goal was disallowed, for them to come back on it, because that showed a bit of bollocks, quite frankly, because you'd almost feel like in a game where you're not, you know, we haven't created too much. You know, Elliott had a goal that he really should have scored in the first half, but other than that, it hadn't been like Liverpool battering them. Yeah. To then go behind, but then for it to be ruled out, in my opinion, incorrectly, that could, like, you could go, oh, it's one of them again. This is going to be 0-0, and then tomorrow, half an hour of a show is going to be moaning about that horrendous refereeing decision. The fact that the lads just showed a little bit about it, and that I did gain confidence from that, because honestly, you were at Palace, and I didn't see none of that. Like, you know, you talk about character in a team and like something about them. Palace looked really flat. Liverpool showed a lot of character, I thought, on Wednesday night.
I mean, like, a lot of the crowd's focus was on Keita. And, you know, I would say a lot of people can't wait for him to go, because he was just running around. And I feel bad. Like, you know, when we're talking about, like, you know, people getting focused on, like, obviously the ref is one, but he definitely gets a lot of focus, especially like with my gang of friends. We were arguing all the time on our Red or Dead show that these guys are, you know, kind of just fed up with the fact that the midfield was a glaring mess and it needed investment. And then it's like every week we're being shown that this is why we should have bought more midfielders. This is why every single week. So it was good to be able to see like a midfield that is actually functioning in the way that Klopp, you know, has designed it.
I think it's good to see someone like Harvey Elliott as an example of this.
Yeah.
And you've seen it in different levels. So you see it with Van Dijk's performance and seeing Konate come back in and seeing a variety of other bits and pieces. We've had Liverpool teams in our lifetime who would maybe rise and have some good moments, but eventually they'd return to the mean, and that was they were a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
And that almost felt inevitable. So when they did drop back down to that, it was disappointing, but you were used to it. What's actually nice to see from that game is lads who we know are boss who've gone down and they're coming back up again, because ultimately they are really good footballers and they're going to get to that sort of level. And it's nice to see, again, Harvey Elliott put in a performance where you're like, he's a gem. He's a boss young footballer. Yeah. Good to see him have a really exciting game. And then Virgil's on the opposite end of the spectrum. There's a guy who got named in the FIFA best team of the season in there, and he had probably his best game of the season at the same time. That's what we need. We need a bunch of lads who feel like they're good enough to wrest control, but they're not, you know, the whim of fates and bad luck and all that, and misfortune and all that kind of stuff. It's nice to know, just see good players do good things for the change.
On the Elliott thing, I find it interesting that I think everyone has their best games when Stefan Bajcetic is in the team. Fabinho looks much better when he's been playing. Elliott has looked, I think, quite lost in centre mid. Bajcetic plays and he looks a lot better. Like, there's something that kid's offering us, because he's not just purely defensive. He can get forward. He's got legs around him. Now, I think he's been the catalyst, actually, which is, again, it's mad to say because he's a young lad, but I think everybody has played better when he's been in the side. Does that make sense? And I always think that's a sign of a good footy player. You know, you're not only looking after yourself, because I thought he was our best player in the first half, especially. But when everyone else around him is upper level, because he's helping them out, he's doing bits for them. Because I agree, I thought Liverpool's plan was quite obvious. Wolves were 4-3-3, but it was a very attacking one, because, you know, Matheus Nunes is playing very, very advanced. So there was space for somebody. And Liverpool, you know, they got Harvey Elliott in front of the goal twice. That you could tell, like, they'd worked on that. He just fluffed his lines on one on the goal. He makes a good save. But for me, I still think a lot of it is hinging on Stefan Bajcetic, which is a positive because he plays Liverpool. He's a good thing, but also, Christian, like, we saw the other day against Palace, Jürgen for the first time realised I can't pick him, and basically it was a bit of a shit show. It does feel like there's a lot on that young lad's shoulders at the minute.
Yeah, people are going to hate me now. I didn't think he was that good yesterday after the first 15 minutes of the game, to be honest. But
really?
I think first 50 minutes I thought he was really, really good, and I think he struggled personally after that. And, you know, it's not
the other card never helped him, did it?
No, and I think that's why he struggled, and I think that's, you know, inexperience. He's not able to go into his tackles in quite the same way and stuff like that. And, you know, for me, I think that was probably up there with his worst game for us, to be honest. And I feel sly saying it, but I know he's going to be a great player. I've got no doubt about it. But, I just felt yesterday we needed a more, probably in the first half, a more experienced, a little bit more mature midfield who could offer themselves to the defence for passes. Yeah. I felt that the first half, and this is my cop view probably coming through, Ste, here is, I'm in the cop, we're building up from the back, we're really struggling to get out of their press. And I felt that we needed midfielders who were going to make themselves more available for that. Second half, a completely different game. But I don't feel like, and again, I hope I'm wrong in this, and correct me, anyone online, I don't think Bajcetic was the catalyst for us getting better in the second half. I felt like it was Trent Alexander-Arnold absolutely massively fucking stepped up. Yeah. I felt like Fabinho had his best game in absolutely ages, and Darwin Núñez was an absolute thorn in their side. Yeah. I didn't walk out of that thinking Bajcetic was a top 5.
I thought Bajcetic, I thought he was better than what you're...
Somewhere in the middle, maybe.
Yeah, I thought he was absolutely sound, and I think what he did...
His tackle was top notch, by the way, in the first half.
Yeah, running back. I'm not saying, I don't think it was his best game for us, but what I'm saying is everyone else seems to play better when he's on the pitch. And when we haven't seen him on the pitch, whether he's been subbed off, and sometimes it was Fabinho coming on, and we all just fucking hell, Fabinho shit, we've gone to shit here. Maybe it was just a bit of Bajcetic going off. We saw against Crystal Palace, Jay just mentioned, the midfield was a bit of a shambles, really. Yeah, you know, in general. Right. Like I say, I think he looks like one of those players who facilitate. That'd be weird. Facilitate others. That's a fucking kettle of fish, that. But he looks like he facilitates others.
You can watch him on Fertilitate People on onlyfans.com/Steve.
Yeah, maybe not for long. The missus is trying to get me a snip. That's my cross to bear. That's nobody else's.
That's an early overshare. That's fucking early.
What's in this? It's not alcoholic. Anyway, yeah, that's my burden.
But I think, sorry to cut you, but I think Nunes makes a massive difference to the team, full stop, because then you've got an outlet.
Yeah.
So what it is that we haven't got the midfield anymore to just play through. So therefore, like now it's like, okay, well they have to kind of keep a bit more honest, the defence. They can't just like close us in as people were, because you feel like, wait a minute, you're doing to us what we've been doing to everyone else. So now you've got an outlet with obviously not only Salah, you've got Nunes to be able to go through, and then Jota's getting back his game fitness. So therefore, I felt like Jota was like this to me, the little highlights that I saw, because of stupid rules that we can't have on TV. But Jota stood out a lot from the extended highlights that I saw. And then Nunes is someone where he's an outlet. He's something where their midfielder has to be able to look and see where he's going to be dropping. Gakpo as well is just getting a bit more into it. I'm familiar with the way I play, but Nunes makes so much of a difference. Like just seeing them being flat against Palace, it was night and day's difference when he's on the pitch.
What we were saying about him is that we did this on the Final Word show today, so forgive me people who watched that, but to retread this a little bit, but we're in danger of kind of people who just don't like him or just don't rate him for whatever reason. Generally speaking, Man United fans, they're all
Nunes
all
we're talking about.
So, yeah, Darwin Nunes.
The people who sing the Andy Carroll song.
Yeah. Funny that, isn't it?
Did they just ruffle? Did they write these lyrics down on the toilets in Anfield? Because everybody knows them.
Yeah, they're also the kind of people who, when they get off the toilets, they've got shit on their hands.
Those people exist. Who's them?
Yeah, they tend to have Old Trafford season tickets. Or we go the way where it's like he's a bit of a fucking mascot for us. Like, always wild, isn't he?
Heroes type stuff.
Yeah, like he's shit. Like he's, like, with the greatest respect, like he's Titi Kamara, you know what I mean, or Eric Maya, or something like that. He's not. And I pointed this out on the podcast this week. He's got one less goal and one less assist than Mane got in the same games in his first season. He's got potentially 15 more games to play for us. He could end up finishing the season on 20 goals across all comps, and that would be a very, very encouraging start to your Liverpool career. He could perceive, it wouldn't be outside the realms of possibility to get 20 goals and 10 assists across the season, and that is to replace Sadio Mane in your first season is a pretty good start.
And what he did at Benfica, isn't it? That he had that first season where he bedded in, and the second season he went absolutely pop. Goals galore. And if he does that, his starting point this time is 20 goals, let's say. That's an incredible place to be. But Andrew's right. It's the ability for him to find space. Like, listen, I now don't think he can be a centre forward in Liverpool if we continue to play the same way as we do. I don't think his first touch is good enough. I think you saw that with the introduction of Gakpo last night. When you get someone in there, and you need to, but when you put him in a little bit of space on that left-hand side and he can have 5 yards to get that first touch under, and he's got a bit of speed under him, and you're running backwards, he's past you before you even know it, mate. And that's the danger with him, is that he is going to cause people trouble time and time again if you just give him a little bit of time and a little bit of space.
So I just want to pick your brain on this today, because we were talking about this before, how we've been coping with it all, and you know being a London-based Liverpool fan, you're saying like all my mates are Arsenal fans and stuff. What's that been like? Because I think what have Arsenal fans been like with it first and foremost? Because it feels like there's a little bit. It doesn't feel as nasty on their end. I think they're quite enjoying themselves. I don't feel like they're quite rubbing it in our face the way that like Man United fans and stuff are. But that's my take. You might be able to put me.
They're very boisterous. I must say they're loving this. But it kind of reminds me of us when we were on our way to winning the league, and people didn't want us to win the league, and when COVID came, then I was like, "Oh, please cancel the seasons!" Like all this nonsense that they were doing, and I feel like it's the same thing with Arsenal fans, because they talk a lot. They're quite similar. We all got a bit of mouth on us, but being down there, around them, there's an optimism, and I feel that because they talk a lot, they're always pretty much the loudest fans bar us. Then people just want him to lose so they can just give it to them. So, but they've been the best team this season.
Do you want them to win?
Have they started?
No.
Have they started singing they're going to win the league? Do they believe they're going to win the league?
No, I think they're and here's where the similarities are. It took us a long time when we were on the way to winning the league to actually start singing it and start believing it ourselves. And it was like a nervous thing. It was like as soon as someone starts saying it, was like, don't say that, you're going to jinx it. So I think they're still at the point of like, let's just keep it one game at a time. Because the thing is that they've seen City against us come back and just plough through games and just win the league. So that can still happen.
And their lead's 5 points. We were doing this at 20 points. We were like, oh no, don't say it yet. They're 20 points behind us. What idiots we were.
If they win their next 7 games
and we lose all of them, they can go ahead.
No, Paul, I don't want them to win the league at all in any form of way.
Yeah, no.
I think I think I could cope more with City winning it. Because
City winning it?
Yeah, because in my head,
it's like nothing.
That's fine. Because that's what's meant to happen. Like, if Arsenal win, it's like, fuck, we really fucked that up. Like if
we did anyway.
No, I know, but just in general, I think I could compare.
City are like a mulligan, like
No, City are like, I don't know, like PSG or Bayern, where you just think, oh, they're going to win anyway, and if they don't win, it's like someone else winning except us or them. I kind of think, oh, that's kind of bad for us, if that makes sense. On the flip side, and also there's a chance that it gets taken off them, which is also
where's this like up and down form, that they've got this season when it was against us.
Yeah.
They was like relentless. Like, will you just go away? They were like Terminator 2 when it's just like running after it. No matter, you couldn't get away no matter what. And it's like these guys are now like giving them an opportunity to a point where it could actually happen.
That's the annoyance though, isn't it? Is you're right, is that if Arsenal were to win it because City win at the level, that would really piss me off because I was all like, oh, well, we can't do it. Oh, Arsenal fans, strap yourselves in because we're having a fight with Man. Oh, they've lost again. Oh, they've lost again. They've not scored.
It makes me. Do you know what? Right. It makes me feel better. It genuinely does because my mindset on it at the moment is they're having the same problems that we're having for having a going deep in competitions year on year on year. So I can go and I watched City do it against us when we won the league. They had that thing where they nearly won the quadruple the season before. They go and win the treble. They get to the quarters of the Champions League. So they probably played 58, 59 games in that season, and they were like 25 points behind us or whatever it was when we won the league. So they've had that drop-off before, and then they bounce back the next season. Yeah. That gives me confidence as a Liverpool fan that City can have their drop-off, even with all the millions that they've spent, even with getting one of the best strikers in the world. They've still had that drop-off. So next season, I imagine City are going to be back. Next season, I know that Liverpool are going to be back. And so Arsenal winning it's fine for me because watching City win it on a down year, when they're fucking nowhere near as good as they should be, with all the money they've got, just says how much they've cheated, how much they've financially doped, that they can win on a down year. So it gives me confidence that another team that has been built the right way, Arsenal, yeah, they spent a lot of money, but they invested in the structure. They stuck by a manager 4 years who the fans wanted out, and they've done it the right way. And they're a big club as well. So I can go, you know what, fair play. Because in 15 years' time, Paul, when Manchester City have got nearly the same amount of league titles as us, this could be the one that extends it for a bit longer. You know what I mean? So, like, why not?
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Sound. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we made reference to Liverpool, the game when we finally did start singing, yeah, we're going to win the league. I feel like that might be relevant for what we're going to be doing in part 2. Definitely relevant if we're going to talk about that game. We are going to take a very short break to highlight our supporters club of the week. When we return, yes, we're going to be picking the top 5 wins over Manchester United, and then in part 3 we're going to be previewing the weekend's game as well. Stay tuned.
Synecas for Liverpool. Yeah!
Huge love to OLSC Colaport there. Absolutely fantastic. Much louder than the cop was in the first half against Wolves, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, if you want to be featured, drop us an email, interact@theredmentv.com, and we'll give you a little shout out on the show in future. Yes, so yeah, there's that. Right, we're going to be ranking Liverpool's best ever wins over Manchester United. We're going to try and come to a top 5. But what I want to do is we'll ask the guests what your favourite one was, and then see if we can start piecing together from there. Jay, what's your favourite Liverpool win over United?
It's got to be the 5-0. Keita started off the party. It was just the most relaxing game I've watched for a little while, and you got to call your friends who are Man United supporters and just like talk them through it. You get to make all your gear. Like, it was such a relaxing time that that they were getting pumped, and it could have been more. So for that is my top, definitely.
That game, you're right. There's a point where I was rewatching the highlights today ahead of this, and the Liverpool players stop celebrating almost. You know what I mean? It stops being like, wah! It's a bit like, okay, so we wrap this up and I can go and get a nice early bath here. Salah gets the hat-trick, of course. Mentioned Keita scored. Jota gets in the act as well. We were just irrepressible that day, and that was the game that it's been coming throughout the entirety of since Alex Ferguson walked out on them to go and have his operation and go and sit and drink whiskey on the back porch. We've been waiting for that game, Chris, to go to Old Trafford and finally put them in the place, and we did it beyond all of our wildest dreams.
There's nothing better than winning at Old Trafford, is there? It's just there's nothing in the world. I mean, winning at Goodison Park, good, but doing that to them, they ruined our childhoods, didn't they? They did. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just
like if Father Christmas was a paedophile, Alex Ferguson basically ruined all of our childhoods.
Wasn't going to quite wear it exactly like that, if I'm honest. But I see the sentiment, and I wholeheartedly would like to throw
that job role's got to have a CRB check.
There's got to
be a CRB check on Santa. I'm sorry, but that's the one. Someone's let us live with Santa's a nonce.
Advanced CRB check.
Something's gone wrong there. That's the one job where someone's got to have it.
Not like the one where you get a set of keys in a pub. The one where you've got to be allowed to work with disadvantaged children.
Right, we're all dads here now, right? Did you hear about Justin from the BBC and what happened with him? So
Justin Fletcher, Mr. Tumble.
Mr. Tumble, right? Did you hear about this? No. So he got taken off the screens for a little while. I never fact checked this, so this may not be true, but this is what I was told. Right, he got taken off the screens for a little while, and apparently someone put a complaint into the BBC that Mr. Tumble wasn't CRB checked. Now, Mr. Tumble never worked at the BBC, but the BBC, being the BBC, had to take him off the screens while an investigation was done. Now, it turns out Justin had been CRB checked and was absolutely fine to work with kids, but Mr. Tumble hadn't. So the BBC had to take him off the screens for a little portion of time while the CRB checked for this. I was just like, this is brilliant.
Just to clarify, I wasn't saying that Alex Ferguson touches kids. I definitely wasn't saying that. I was just saying that he ruined childhoods like a paedophilic Father Christmas would do. That's perfectly.
Mate, you just shut up.
What?
Please don't include me in this lawsuit.
Just to clarify, Alex Ferguson, not a nonce. Just want to draw that line under the sand. I mean, he might be. I mean, he said, no. I just mean it hasn't been. It's not needed to be disproven. It's not needed to be disproven. It's not needed to be disproven because no one's. There's been no allegation. There's no hint that he is. So he hasn't had to disprove it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, brilliant. Smooth.
Liverpool
5-0 then, yeah.
5-0.
You know what my favourite part? I know we
How did we get here?
Yeah, honestly. How'd you go from
How did we get out? It's the most important question.
From Mo Salah becoming like one of the best players.
Stop through a fucking chimney, that's for sure. There's
so many jokes. I'm going to move on.
With consent. Carry on.
The Ronaldo offside makes that goal as well, of course. Yes. When you guys, the video where you guys are laughing your heads off when he equalises. Mohamed Salah, at that point in time, was the best footy player on the planet, and he just went and showed that he'd done it. So yeah, that was a wonderful
Curtis.
day. Ronaldo getting himself a little bit of argy-bargy in there as well, and Liverpool all that. Was that when Ibu Konate just picked Bruno Fernandes up and just dispatched them quite easily as well?
The Ronaldo stuff was the best thing about that, because we joked at the time That's all Ronaldo was to United was, these are shite, but I score goals. And that was his only defence. Yeah. And to have him score and almost be like, right, these are all a shower of shite. But I did my job, nothing to do with me. I did my job. I put the ball in the back of the net, and to have that robbed from him so that he got lumped in with the collective crapness of that entire performance was just chef's kiss. Chris?
With the game we were talking about before, actually, the 2-0 at home, where we started singing, "You're going to win the league," and I think was it January time that, or
yep.
Yeah, January. So I think we'd started talking in here in the office, behind the cameras, not on camera, quite early doors, December, I think, of like, we are actually going to win this league.
When we beat City, wasn't it?
There is no chance that we're not going to win this league, but I wasn't able to commit that to tape, for want of a better word, because I just knew that City fans and United fans would jump on that, and down the line you're going to get in a lot of shit. And that was like, so for me, that game, it wasn't just beating United, it was being able to actually almost, I'm freed of that. It's like, though, this is done now. I don't need to worry about any of yous. And the fact that it's such a late 93rd minute winner by Salah or something, the manner in which he puts it away and stuff, it's just fucking glorious.
I remember in the WhatsApp chats, like, between us saying which one of us is going to have the bottle to say first on the internet, because not one of us, like, not one of us, we were all saying off, we were like, we were making plans, we're like, I don't know, where's the celebration going to be? Obviously that all got curtailed, unfortunately. Like, what are we going to do, where we go, and party time, parades and stuff. And I was like, so who's going to be the first to say it on the internet? And I was like, absolutely not me. And then the cop kind of decided for everybody that we're all just going to say it now.
Yeah, it wasn't a decision. It was, right, pass it on. If we score this goal here, this is the game where we're going to do it. Alisson Becker webs the ball down the pitch, falls over. Salah rushes through. Dan James tries to get hold of him, strengths him off, puts it in. We saw the pitch. Shea comes off, runs over to the cop screaming, and then there's Alisson Becker knee sliding in behind him, and it was just like. And the funny thing is, I've been asked this on shows before about like best games or whatever, and I say that one quite often, and no one, like, people go, why? Because like you've had bigger wins, or you're seemingly more important, and like the Sky highlights don't have us singing. You can just hear a tinge of it right at the end of the highlight reel, but that was the moment, because the whole of Anfield just erupted.
Even Van Dijk's goal when he celebrates, just looks at the Man United fans and say, "Use a fucking crap." Yeah. Get on me. Look, I've just jumped about this tall in the air past all your lads. Get on me. We're well better than you. That was it.
You can see the difference, because look at his goal celebration against Wolves this week, and it's all like pure relief. He's scored against Wolves. He scores against Man United at Anfield, historic rivals, and he's just like sneering like, "Yeah, I'm boss.
Get on me." Yeah, that was a special day. That one. Special day. Mine's the 4-1 at Old Trafford, for me. Because I was there, and you mentioned before, Chris, about ruining your childhood and stuff. I mean, I went to that ground so often. I know if not for Danny Murphy, it'd have been a truly horrific experience, because it wasn't great at the best of times. We just never used to win. It was awful. No matter what, we just couldn't do anything there really.
Going into Old Trafford, like being invited to sit on the knee of a paedophile.
Mate, do you need therapy or something? Is there something you're trying to tell us? We're all listening. Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Stop us answering your off, by the way, Paul, because I'm starting to get slightly concerned.
He never did, unfortunately. Yeah.
They didn't even bother to dress up.
Didn't even have the catch on.
This is so. Can I go back to the footy? Yeah. How have we got to a point where I'm being the sensible one? How did this happen?
I don't know.
That's quite odd. Anyway, yeah, go back to the 4-1, so obviously, and then they go 1-0 up, and you're like, oh, fuck. Here we go again. I think Pepe Reina gives a penalty away, doesn't he? And they score, and you're like, oh, no, here we go again. And then this is where Fernando Torres starts owning the Manjevic. Yeah. He starts in this game where he just absolutely makes a show of him. There's the celebration on the screen now, and he gives it the 5 and stuff. It's 1-0, like sound, and then it goes again, the penalty. And then we go again where the Aurelio free... When the Aurelio free kick goes in, just after the red card, that's where I was like, oh my God, I'm at Old Trafford and we're about to win. And then obviously the Saina makes it with the 4th one, which is just really funny. Like, Old Trafford is emptied at that point. But like even after...
That's a Pepe Reina assist for that as well.
It was, yeah. And after the game, like we got kept in for ages, obviously, because I don't think the police knew how to handle... What happens if Liverpool win? Like, we've never planned this. Okay, we best just lock them in because something's going to happen here. So we were in there for ages and like... Doing the Torres, because the Torres song was amazing, doing the bounce at Old Trafford. But yeah, that was one where, like, Liverpool obviously we'd been European champions, and we were trying to get ourselves to a point where we can win a title, or we can be taken serious, because that's a great Man United side as well. I think that goes into it. You know, some of the previous two were amazing games, but like they were pretty average Man United sides. This one was like Man United. They had everyone. You know, they were brilliant, and Liverpool wiped the floor with them. And yeah, it was a masterclass from Rafa Benitez tactically, and it was just again dead hot day bouncing around Old Trafford. It was really, really fun, because usually coming out of there, you're miserable trying to get back on your bus before someone throws bricks at your head. This time they'd all gone, because there was no one left. We've been locked in for that long, so that was pleasant.
I think undoubtedly all three of them make it into a top 5.
Yeah.
I can't see how they can't. So I've got some other suggestions which we can talk through briefly and see where we come out with stuff. And some of this might depend on eras and what have you, but I'll do some more recent ones. Liverpool 3, Man United 1, December 2018. Shaqiri off the bench to score 2 to win it. It's effectively the end of Jose Mourinho.
It was the end of him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Random shout, and this is completely off topic, so apologies. But I heard someone in the cop say last night, I don't see what Harvey Elliott gives us that Shaqiri didn't.
Okay. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know what that means.
So we got rid of Shaqiri. Why did we get rid of Shaqiri when we?
Yeah. Why did we bother with Harvey Elliott when we had Shaqiri?
I think Shaqiri's way better, being honest. Like, obviously he's young, he's more established when he came to us. He added something new. I think Harvey Elliott is learning his way. I'm a big fan of Harvey Elliott, but nowhere near the same.
I mean, because I wonder if that guy's the same person who argues that we've got too many injury-prone footballers at the football.
That was the problem. I was going to say, what Shaqiri did was never play.
Fucking injured constantly. And if he wasn't injured, he was off in Turkey having his hair done, which kept him out because he couldn't head the ball. In the aftermath, like, can I wear this hat? Why are you turned up? Why are you wearing a hat? It's like when your kids got like sunnies on the next morning, and it's because they got a black eye or something like. Like, where have you been, Shaq? Whoa! What the hell is going on?
I went to see Santa Claus, and one thing led to another. So.
Come on, it's not funny.
Okay, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting shout. Certainly.
We come from behind in that one, did we? I can't remember.
There was one.
Lingard scored.
Yeah, Lingard scored. In that one.
Front of us.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting one. There is, and I don't think people will necessarily pick this one.
Tell me the Europa League one, please.
Liverpool 2, United 0, March 2016, Europa League. Now, I couldn't remember how that game went. Daniel Sturridge scores a penalty, and I think Firmino scores the other one. But it's mad watching that team when it's Jurgen Klopp and it's Daniel Sturridge being brilliant up front for us. But David De Gea has a boss game in that one as well, as he seems to do in all of these.
The away leg was good as well.
But that's what I mean. I think people remember.
This was the first time we played them in Europe. Wasn't it?
Yeah. Everyone remembers the away leg with Phil Coutinho's goal, but no one talks about.
But we drew one all at Old Trafford.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was sat.
Wasn't a win, was it?
I think I was sat at the very top of the new main stand. Was that the first season the new main stand opened?
Maybe.
I feel like, I was definitely
season
after, right? And I was on the back, and I was banging on the, where you get to bang on stuff. There's nothing better than the matches there. And I'm there just banging on shit. Like, it was brilliant, and I was so high up I couldn't see the frigging game, but I was just enjoying being little drummer boy for a day, to be honest with you. So I absolutely loved that game.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, I think the away one's the one that we remember, because it's like, because we won the tie there. But it feels like that Coutinho goal was the goal that won us the game, but in reality,
we won that.
That was the one where he kind of announced him as a major player, and pretty much was the start of him going as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goal,
one that we haven't mentioned actually from last season is the 4-0 win.
Yeah. I mean, it's not often you get to beat Man United 9-0 on aggregate across the season, which is glorious.
Salah scores a brace. There's actually quite a nice moment in the 7th minute where the whole Anfield does like a round of applause for Ronaldo, who'd obviously just lost one of his kids had died in the build-up to that, which is like a nice moment. And ultimately, Liverpool being absolutely brilliant on the pitch was a huge thing. I think it kind of just gets overshadowed by the 5-0 at Old Trafford. Scooting back in time then.
Some of the Murphy ones.
Well, not yet. Man United 0, Liverpool 3, March 2014.
Oh, David Moyes, football genius.
David Moyes.
Don't remember that game
No.
too much, to be
Not
honest. But
remember.
then, I was quite drunk.
Yeah, that was a. We made a show with him in that one as well.
Was that a hat trick for Gerrard?
No, he missed the hat-trick
missed the
penalty.
pen. He scored 2 pens, and I think didn't we dive for one of them? I'm sure that someone died. Was it Sturridge dives? I can't really remember. Someone dived, got another one, and then he missed it. But then it's Suarez who gets the third one. Yeah, we battered them in that game. That was the David Moyes football genius banner was out and all that, wasn't it?
But we went into that game expecting to win.
Yeah.
And if anything, that was the game where we was just like, please make sure that it's not just a win, it has to be a lesson, a message. And I remember that. Yeah, that was definitely one of the
absolutely. Okay, we've done 4-1, of course. Liverpool 2, Man United 0, March 2003.
Oh, I love Cardiff. This
That just always gets forgotten about when you win a trophy against them.
I absolutely love Cardiff. I did a thing on Radio City a few years back. They used to do like match of my day or something. I can't remember the name of it. And I picked this game because I went to every single League Cup game that season. It was easier to get tickets and stuff, and I thought I was a bit of a boy. I think I was like 16, 17. I mean, Mum and Dad had just started to let me go away games, and I thought it was a bit of a big time thing. Like, I remember going to Cardiff, and I used to just love it, absolutely love it. And then, what's the matter with that goal? It's obviously the first goal was a massive deflection. Gerrard scored from like the car park, but it takes a big. And from where I was at, it didn't look like it, and I thought we'd seen like the greatest goal I've ever seen. It turns out, I think it just whacks off. Was it Beckham? Was it hit someone's back?
Yeah.
And then they battered us. It's a bit like the 2001 FA Cup final against Arsenal, where we are just on the ropes. And Jerzy Dudek, everyone talks about Istanbul. This might have been his best ever performance for us. He was unstoppable, save after save after save, and then obviously Michael Owen right at the very end. But the game itself was not enjoyable because it was relentless back against the wall.
Was unreal in that.
I can't believe this was 20 years ago,
Yeah, I know.
Crazy, innit?
Oh man, I feel old now.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
Me too, by the way.
Listen, I'm nowhere near as old as him. He's well older.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Grandpa was on the corner there.
Before I go to a couple of the other picks, I was quickly trying to find an answer to this. Just out of interest, Xherdan Shaqiri, how many appearances did he make for Liverpool and how many goals did he score?
I'm going to go total starts or
Total appearances.
50 maybe.
49.
63 appearances, 8 goals he scored for Liverpool. Harvey Elliott has made 57 appearances and scored 6 goals so far. So
Similar.
Yeah.
Similar, but Shaqiri was a seasoned pro. Harvey Elliott's just starting his career.
Exactly. So it's ultimately because Harvey Elliott's got a longer career and potentially a higher ceiling, although
They're both pretty.
probably not.
And there's one bit that no one ever speaks about, not too much. That pass to Salah, I think it was at Watford. I can't remember. It was
West Ham.
West Ham. Oh,
Trent to Shaqiri
Yeah, that's the one.
to Salah.
Oh my God.
I think Shaq's got as well. Obviously, he was in the 4-0 Barca, wasn't he? But like, I don't think that's like. To be honest, I think
But by default, because everyone else was
I don't think like that's a. I don't know. What's the offer us that Shaqiri doesn't? Well, he wants to play for Liverpool for a start. He hasn't asked to leave.
Yeah.
It was a weird criticism.
It came across as just a really weird criticism for me because I was like, I almost nearly turned around to him and went, well, he can play centre mid, and tonight we need that, mate. Like, you know what I mean? It's like he's not a winger. Like, you know what I mean?
He literally wants to be here as well. That helps.
Liverpool, Man United 0, Liverpool 1, January 2002.
Is this the third Murphy? I get confused with all the Danny Murphy goals.
Is this the...
2, the second one. This
isn't the free kick. This is just a Murphy winner.
This is
Oh,
84.
Gerrard passes down the line, Murphy over the...
And he lifts it over the keeper to the far corner. Pandemonium. United 0, Liverpool 1, December 2000. Danny Murphy.
We made a Christmas jumper out of this.
We did.
Gold kiss.
Because it was December.
Gold
Oh,
kit.
What was the pun?
Murphy, Mankin, Cent. No, Gold, Mankin, Cents.
And
Murphy.
I remember
It wasn't a big seller, that one.
Where's it all, wasn't it?
I remember in that game that I was really frustrated. Actually, that's my first and only time being at Old Trafford, and I'm never going back. Just after.
Completed it, mate.
My God, it was like, I've never felt hate before. Like, I remember Murphy scored the goal. And I remember being frustrated with Gerrard at that time because, not Gerard Houllier at the time, because he wasn't putting on Anelka. I remember Anelka was just warming up. I was just like, "Will you put him on?" And then, and then I remember after we scored after the game, because obviously you get kept in like some caged animals, they released this massive flag, a Mickey Mouse treble. And I remember I never forget that. That was like, it was the biggest flag I've ever seen, ever unveiled. I don't know how long it took them to make it. It must have been like 25 people just working together on that thing.
And they lost.
And they still lost.
First time you felt hate.
Is it the Mickey Mouse thing that...
No, you know, we was walking in there, and then obviously you got to cover up. And shout out to my brother who decided that day to wear a Liverpool coat when we were walking in. And then he thought, okay, I'm going to take my coat off and just hold it in my hand. And I think it was February or something. And it was just like, how we didn't get a beating, I have no idea. But we went into the stadium. But as we walked past it, they had a big advertising board. And it's the first time I've ever seen that like picture of someone pissing on a Liverpool shirt. And I was like, oh my God, we are literally going into hell.
Which is funny because you see that all over Blackpool nowadays on T-shirt stores,
Really?
which is also
Quite
very
hellish.
akin to hell as well. Yeah.
I've got a quick story about Old Trafford. I think I've told this before, so apologies, but I might not have told it. I used to cover Liverpool under 21s, and I went to watch Liverpool under 21s at Old Trafford.
When you CRB checked.
I was, yes, I was. In my Santa outfit. No, and I tell you, right, it was a game. Yeah, cheers. And I went on I remember Joe Shelby was playing for us and Andre Wisdom, and for some reason they were around the first team at this point, so I went down to cover them for work. And as I walk out, I used to drive like a Fiat Punto, like fucking shed, and just walking back after the under 21s game, I think it ended the draw, and I'm walking back to my car, and some lad just goes, "Hey mate, got the time?" And I went, "Oh yeah mate, it's like 7:30. Heard that I was scout, and like 10 lads just appeared and started throwing fucking rocks at me car. Like I ran back to me for your Punto and got in it. It was an under 21s game, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "I'm a journalist." Journalist. I was like, journalist. Like, fuck off. And these kids are throwing fucking. He started chasing me. And I just got in my car and fucking locked the door. So I thought, there's fucking 10 of them going to get me head kicked in here. And I must have been, bloody hell, you're probably talking like 2010s. So I must have been like 20 odd. And look, these lads are about 17, 18 fucking scallies, and there's fucking loads of them. And I had to drive off of me fucking Fiat Punto, and they're just fucking launching stones at me car. I was like, fucking hell. So I felt hate at Old Trafford too, albeit at under 21s game. Yeah, fucking hell.
I've been too nervous to go back since. So I don't know how you guys go back for more.
We had the only thing that we came close to, we saw when we went the season after the Champions League win, and we'd done an interview, and it was in like the car park, and you become very aware. It was empty, it was kind of locked off, so there was no foot traffic through it, but it's like lower down.
Sunken, isn't it?
It's opposite. It's like to the right of the hotel.
And
the
fans
ground's
are
in front of
watching
you.
us from
There's
above.
people, I'm like, because you're drawing attention, you got a camera pointed at you, and I was, oh my God, I feel so fucking uncomfortable here, so really uncomfortable. By the time we did it, managed to skulk away, and we'd never been to Old Trafford for a game before, so we went the wrong way. So effectively, instead of going round, so you go past the mega store, and then you got like the Munich tunnel, but you go in before.
You went up in
there.
Stefford then, haven't you?
We went the wrong way round. Yeah, went
had to go
through the
through the
Munich
tunnel of
tunnel,
death.
all the way through the Munich tunnel, walking the wrong way. So every single person that was walking that way was face on to us, and like you're not being totally unrecognisable Liverpool fans was like fucking hell. And bear in mind, like
It's all right, I took my glasses off. You can't see me. No one knows who I am.
Oh no!
Shit.
You're letting
Don't
people know
give it
your
away.
secret.
Jesus, Clark.
Fucking brilliant.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
that was not nice. They're saying that this season wasn't nice at Old Trafford either, because I went with Chloe and we got kept in for a bit. We obviously get beaten as well. And we're walking out, and for some reason they kept us in, but not long enough for their fans to disperse. And so they had to walk us through their bit, and the police cordoned us off, and they were just there screaming all kinds of abuse at us, throwing stuff at us. And I was like, why is walking us through them? This is stupid. You know what's going to happen.
You used to put the chicken cage, like chicken wire cages in your
Yeah,
side,
there was just
and it was
policemen
just a way for you to targets of stuff just getting launched over the top of your head. Yeah, it was grim.
But remember that time we went, there was all kinds of fights outside the ground in the streets and stuff, wasn't there? Like gangs of people just going at each other, and I'm like, oh, this is mad. I've heard about this, but this is the first time I've been at Old Trafford. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. This was like 3 years ago. I'm like, what's going on? Like, you're going to the footy.
I'm a middle-class dad. I just want to sit down and watch the game.
Honestly, like, you know what I mean? I want to bovril and I want to enjoy the footy. Is that all right with you?
I want to wave some number 6 balloons and man faces.
I want to do that too.
Do you guys find that there's, I don't know if people still do that, there's people that just, they're not even watching the game, they're just watching you the entire game. And there's this guy who was just like this. Oh, wait. I was like, there's a game on. And he didn't care. He was just like staring us out like, you, the whole way. I'm never going back there. I'll make that quite clear. Ever.
That's just on a corpo.
There is...
You take that
corporate seats in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Sponsorship for today.
So,
TikTok video to be made.
So I think, as mentioned, 5-0 is in there.
Yeah.
2-0, we're going to win the league.
Yeah.
And
4-1.
4-1.
They're the top
Great
three.
Kit, Old Trafford.
I'd put 5-0 number 1.
Yeah. Well, we need to work out the other 2 first, and then we can decide what order they go in. So, what other 2 do we think are worthy of being in that conversation? We've got a
Got to have them in a cup final. You win a trophy against them. It's got to be in there.
Okay, so we've got the League Cup final 2003 potentially. I personally would make a case for Danny Murphy gold kit free kick because it was a very iconic win, and we very rarely won at Old Trafford up until that point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put the lobber over that.
The second one,
Yeah,
okay.
because that was a better team. That was the team that we were facing.
Yeah, 2002.
Was it Barthez that you scored over?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a very good team though.
I think we might just be dismissing 4-0 last season far too easily. It is as well.
Yeah.
We beat Man United for 4-0.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't just
Just
happen.
got used to it then.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. There's a couple of earlier ones. I mean, there's a couple that you have mentioned very, very quickly. I remember the most violent I've seen at a football game was the 1-0 in the FA Cup at home. Peter Crouch scores. That was grim outside that one. That was the game when Alan Smith broke his leg. Remember, and there was all kinds. That was a nasty game, like in terms of atmosphere. The Fowler 2-0 95 one.
Yeah.
That was. I went to that
Is
game.
that the one where he goes near post on Schmeichel?
He scores the
free kick in the grey kit.
Oh, that one.
And I think I was 8, and that was on my birthday. I think I went for my 8th birthday. And again, I got a rude awakening to what Man United fans think about Liverpool fans at the age of 8 or something. That was quite fun. I think 5-0, 4-1. I will put the cup final in there.
Well, let's go. So I think a Murphy one's got to be in there. What do we think? I tell you what, Joe, would you put a live poll in, please, between Murphy free kick 2000 or Murphy late winner 2002, please?
Is that going to be number 5 then?
I think that'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's our number 5 position potentially. Just to bring it back up again, the 3-1 win with Shaqiri's 2 goals, that was another one of those games where we've been better than them for a few seasons, and we just couldn't get that
the 0-0s and stuff, Mourinho's side and all that type of stuff.
Exactly, and a very Mourinho, like, he would find a way to undo what we were doing, and we'd suffer for it.
Still not getting in there.
Van Gaal had our number a little bit of times, well, even at times.
It's got to be 5-0, 4-1, cup final, 2-0 Europa League, maybe?
Oh, no, I think.
Oh.
One of the Murphys. This is tough.
Yeah.
Both of the Murphys were good against both teams.
I think we should put Murphy as 5th, and then we'll let the poll decide which one it is. So, Joe, if you want to put Danny Murphy as number 5,
the list.
Number 4, then bear in mind, I think we've probably got our top 3, as we've already mentioned.
Probably the cup final. Then
Shall we say league? Are we happy to say League Cup final?
Yeah. Say the top 3 again for me.
So the top 3 in no particular order right now is going to be the 5-0,
4-1,
the 4-1,
2-0,
and the 2-0.
Yeah.
Cup final. We won the
So number
Murphys.
3.
Did I say? Yeah, no. I meant 2-0.
Yeah.
Not the. Yeah,
Okay, so number
not the Europa League one.
3
of those
is either then the 4-1 in 2008-2009 or the 2-0 at Anfield.
There is a lot of fondness in me for the 4-1, but there's a lot of recency bias that it's going up against with the 2-0, and we literally went on and won the league after that one, so I'm going to give it that one. And also, that might not have even been the best game that week that we scored 4 in.
yeah.
The week of the 4-1, because we...
No, Real Madrid are happy to give it to to United. I think
I'm sure it's the other way around. Like, but when you're not even the best game that you've won in that week, like we've beaten United loads more times than Real Madrid. I know we've played them loads more times as well. Like, don't get me wrong, but like wins against Real Madrid are hard to come by, which was
I'm happy to go to 4-1 at 3, and then the 2-0 at 2, and
Yeah.
then the 5-0 at 1.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, in third place,
The 4-1.
the 4-1.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
So we've had our poll results with 62% of the vote was the late winning goal from Murphy in 2002.
Okay, let's do that.
So that's in
The
fifth.
Gerrard pass for that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absurd how good that
So,
is.
right, Joe, have you got this? Let's find out. Fifth. What? In fifth place will be Danny Murphy, late winner, 2002. In fourth place will be Liverpool 2, Man United 0, League Cup final, 2003.
We've nailed this.
In third place
4-1.
is Man United 1, Liverpool 4, Old Trafford 2009.
The iconic great kid.
2-0, we're going to win the league.
Second place, Liverpool 2, Man United 0, we're going to win the league.
I realised that you're buying time for him, but just tell him to hurry up.
And in first place
Because you're just going to read this list again now with a graphic on the screen.
is Liverpool, Man United 0, Liverpool
Football club.
Football Club, established in 1892.
Grounds Limited.
It's the wrong way! No, it's fine, Jordan.
So there you go. That is our top 5 Liverpool versus
Did you
Manchester
get that
United
from
wins.
that font from Word Art, by the way, Joe?
Don't. Shouldn't be. Well done.
Well done, Joe. You're
Well
great
done,
work,
Joe.
Paul.
You've done really well there.
Can we just see the graphic one more time?
Just so it was worth the effort. It's got to rebuild. It's got to type it all in again.
I don't feel like that was worth the wait, to be honest.
Slightly underwhelming. Like going to see Santa Claus.
Right, sounds. That is your top 5. We've still got part 3 yet to come, and we're going to be counting down, looking ahead to the game against the Manx this Sunday. A very short break from us. Wrap your eyes and ears around this. Oh, what's happening? We've got a boss prize for all of our Club Legend subscribers this month. It's been 30 years of Liverpool partnering with Carlsberg. They released the special edition Liverpool Carlsberg cans, and we have got sets of them to give away. 8, in fact. To be with a chance of winning them, all you've got to do is either upgrade your existing subscription from Club Captain to Club Legend, or head to redmenplus.com and join directly as a Club Legend there. Your name will be entered in, and yes, you could have these wonderful, wonderful beer cans in your personal Liverpool collection. Look great on a shelf or a mantelpiece, or probably in your recycling bin. Get involved, redmenplus.com. Make sure that you are 18 plus. Only 18 plus people can win this, and obviously be responsible with your drinking as well. But yeah, look at them. Aren't they magnificent? And they could be yours.
On the Jimmy Carr one, obviously, we're fucking massive. Jimmy came out of that and all
Yeah.
that. Has he been back in touch since?
No. No. Radio silence. I'm
Is he
sure
on the
we'll
Have a
get.
Word?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get our. I'm sure he'll come back at some point. I want him to be like, yeah, you are fucking
Yeah.
massive. That's what we want.
I
Yeah.
think it's amazing that one, because whether you're saying it's a shtick of him, like I'm massive and more important, but there is a thing that generation of Have a Word, it was in a mad business park in Runcorn. Jimmy Carr definitely would have had that thing, and I think the lad say to him like, "This is the biggest podcast," and he was like, "Seriously?"
Yeah, yeah, it
Like-
was that. And the best bit for me was he went, I need the loo. I was like, cool, it's down there on the right. And as I watched him go to make sure he'd gone in the right place. As he walked in, someone who worked we were in a science block. Someone who worked in the science block walked out. So imagine their day going back to their job.
Jimmy
going,
Carr
Jimmy
doing
Carr's
it."
just gone in the toilet. He's off home sick because he's gone mental. There was a lot of that. Sending people to the toilets and just watching Jason Manford and interact with a random scientist in this block.
full of crisp. We got a boss offer for you if you want to check out Redmen Uncensored. Joe, turn the volume off, you dick. Joe's literally just come and give me chapter and verse while you shut the door because he's scared of the vision mixers noise bleeding into the microphones, and then he's just left my voice on the telly. Love you, Joe. Hello to Joe Bacon, everyone in the comments.
You just threw him under the bus, the poor lad.
We've got a code for you guys if you want to check out Redmen Uncensored. We're going to be doing that show straight after this one, and we've got a boss back catalogue from the first 4 episodes as well for you to delve into. If you go to redmenplus.com, choose a club captain subscription, and then put in the code TNP. Not rate my take, TNP. There we go. Well done, Joe. Fuck me.
If you ever doubted if we were live or not.
Jesus Christ. Put the code TNP in. And you're going to get it free for a month. There you go. That's all. That's 4 whole shows, including this one onwards, and then you've got the 4 that we've done previously. So that's technically 8 of these shows for free. So yeah, check it out. TNP. It's good stuff. We highly recommend it. Right.
We're doing Rate My Take now.
Apparently not.
I didn't think that was the TMP code, by the way. Just fine.
It was uncensored back in the day.
I thought TMP got you 50% off.
I'm just reading what's here. No, there's a chance. There is a chance that I've written this.
You can do this another time.
This is an off-air conversation. This isn't it? Like
no, it's not. It's an on-air conversation because you might have just misled the public. We'll come back to it.
Well, all I'm saying
is
I've told
again,
them.
Andre.
I've told them.
What are we gonna do?
I've told them it's a 3-month no stay. So you deal with that information as you
Just brought me up again.
As you will. Right.
Oh, fuck.
We need a camera angle of just me and Andre. We'll carry on the conversation.
Totally.
You two can punch it out over there.
I'll have to make a free code after this.
Right. Should we carry on with the show?
Let's carry on with the
Rate
show.
My Take.
No.
We're not doing that.
Right, let's look ahead then to Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield this Sunday. Big game of football. I've still got Chris, Ste and Andre in the studio with me for this one. Today, yeah, United, a bit like probably I was going into the Real Madrid game. I feel loads more confidence because we feel like we're finding ourselves a little bit more. I don't think United are as good as Real Madrid, but they are also much bigger rivals. There's a load more that we've mentioned in the previous segments. You know, there's lots more riding on it in terms of mood and emotion and all, and hatred and all that kind of stuff. It's just a huge game, and not because you cannot win against Manchester United, because they're not really our business this season, which is a kick in the teeth. But I think just to keep the good mood going, just to make everyone feel better, feel like remind them that we are more at the level that they're at in the league. We've just not shown it consistently this year.
I mean, this is definitely the just playing for pride game, because none of us are. Well, they just won a Carabao Cup, and you'd have thought they'd won the Champions League the way they're celebrating.
Come on, I went mad last year. Let's giving Kepa the big V's. Yeah,
just a bit of salt there,
yeah.
But you know,
just a sprinkle.
Just a bitterness,
little salt bay on the
like bitter juice. I think with this particular game, I'm nervous because they are getting good, and I can see. I wasn't sure what Ten Hag was doing before, because there still seemed like they wasn't like his imprint on the team, but I can see it now. So I'm not going there like completely scared, but I'm more respectful of that team now. Whereas before it's just like light work.
I'm the same as you. You know, I think for me, what I can see first and foremost is he's nowhere near all the way there with the team yet, but he has absolutely changed the mentality of the players. Yeah. That I think might be the hardest thing to do, and he seems to have done that first. Like, I do a show tomorrow. It's coming out. Me and Josh do a preview of this game. We talk quite a lot about like the spine of the team in that game, and you know, tactically, I don't think there's much changed yet, really. But he's just got better players. Like, you know, getting Casemiro in, kind of a little bit laughed at, to be honest, at 31 years old. But you look at Fabinho and what our form has done with Fabinho's not playing great. You look at what Casemiro has been able to bring to Manchester United, and he's just picked a few little things to change, and he's done it really well. But the mentality, they are now looking to me like one of the great Manchester United sides, whereby they don't know when they're beaten. Classic example last night, 15 minutes ago, the 1-0 down. You knew they were going to win. They seem to have got that back, which is mad, and that's a scary thought, really. Whereas for us, we just look bereft of confidence if the first goal goes against us, and we look absolute whale beaters if we score the first goal. It doesn't matter to them; they're quite even keeled, and it's like we're just going to play our game. We're going to trust in us. So yeah, massive respect to Ten Hag. Actually,
it's the first time we played them as underdogs in ages.
They haven't beat us at Anfield in the league since 2016. You know.
Yeah, I know, and
Don't say that. Now look,
touch wood. No, that did happen. Didn't jinx anything, did I? I just repeated the fact. Did it jinx anything?
Well, time's going to tell us.
Is this wood?
Unfortunately,
it looks like a veneer.
You sound like fucking Santa. Sorry. On the what he's done, he's made some brave decisions as well. He really has. So Cristiano Ronaldo,
brave decision to let Cristiano Ronaldo run roughshod over his football club and then terminate
but
his contract.
He never. That wasn't in. That was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who Ronaldo's had his way with. Ten Hag's not had it. Not have it at all. You know, it's easy for us to sit and laugh at Harry Maguire, but to have the stones to go he's the club captain or whatever he was at that point, you're not playing anymore.
Did he lift the trophy?
Yeah, he was there.
He was there.
But did he lift it because he's the club captain? Or did he strip the club captaincy off him?
I didn't watch that.
See, we have no insight.
He lifted from what I saw, he lifted the trophy as well. He was right next to, he was there, right next to Fernandes. Yeah, he definitely was.
And he got him out the team. He played Luke Shaw, the centre half the other day, rather than picking him. So like he's made brave decisions. He's made players better.
I don't think that's a brave decision. He's shit, Harry Maguire.
Yeah, but he is. Yeah, but like again,
it cost him £80 million, and he's the club.
He's a Man United.
Cost him though.
No, again. And
No. But Man United are a company first and foremost, aren't they? Yeah. And they're asset focused, and it's kind of it's not the same as a Ronaldo thing.
And from a playing point of view, Ronaldo and Maguire shouldn't have been playing for years, but they were. He's made players better. Yeah. Quite a lot of players. Rashford is just unbelievable again. He's in the form of his life. What they've got a system and a style of play that just suits them to a ground. It's mad to say this because like it's so obvious, but Man United have been so dysfunctional. They've been a team of individuals. I think like Ole Solskjaer's Man United do. They won some big games. They go to Paris and win, and they do a few other bits and bobs as well. They come second in the league at one point, but like I always felt like they were winning. They were what?
By default, but carry on.
Yeah, cracking on. Yeah, they were almost winning in spite of themselves. If that makes sense. Maybe. But like. I never felt they were like a good team or anything. Like again, individuals were kind of carrying them through. Man United now are a proper team. Yeah, you're right. They're going to come to Anfield full of confidence for the first time in ages. You're right in saying that before, obviously. But recently they've been whipping boys, but they're not now. We're the underdogs.
It's an interesting dynamic to know that because how do we play that? Because we know what their strengths are.
We're good at being underdogs at home.
Exactly, and they're a counter-attacking team, and it's just going to be interesting to see whether they can handle being the favourites almost for this. And they obviously won't because it's at Anfield still, and we'll still probably be the bookmakers' favourites for it. It'll be narrow, I'd guess, or narrower than it has been in recent years. But how do they handle that almost like pressure, the weight of expectation that comes with it? Because that's a different pressure. When there's no pressure on you, when you're building your side, because you're just enjoying the ride and you're enjoying the wins that you pick up along the way. Whereas all of a sudden it's a game that matters. We're testing their resolve. We're testing how good they actually are, and that's why I think it's a massive game for us. Is because there's a chance we might finish like 15 points plus behind them in the league this season, which would be mad. But there's a message that we can send here that just says, don't worry. We're not gone, and you're not as good as you think you are. That's kind of like. Yeah, prepare the open top bus, but it's not something you can parade, but it is a little something you can carry with you potentially for the rest of the season for us and into next season.
Flip side of that is, of course, that if United come to Anfield and win, that's just them. Yeah, they're like that could be the thing that kickstarts them.
It's those that we spoke earlier, didn't we, about our favourite Liverpool wins against them, and some of them are going to Old Trafford and winning and showing we're better than you. They've done that at Anfield again, because reference on the previous segment, they've ruined our childhood because they often turned up at Anfield like stupid goal like John O fucking Shea, like things like that. Yeah. Just putting us to get back in your box kind of thing. Well, a little upstarts, but there you go, get back where you are. You don't want that. And also, and it's again away from the game, like because of the situation we find ourselves in. we've got to try and we've got big games. So in our next 5 league games, we play United, City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Or 4 of the next 5. Bournemouth's in there as well. We've got to win some of these big games now.
Yeah.
Big, like we do, because we've dug ourselves a hole where in some games when a draw used to be an order. You know what? A draw against them, it's sound. You'll take that. You'll beat everyone else because all those fucking crap teams beat us. There's pressure on us now. We've got to win. We've got to win some of these big games. And if you can win the first one, it will just breed confidence going into City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. If you lose to United, those bigger games become even harder. Again, the two best teams in the league are on the horizon coming up soon. You can't get beat by Man United and then go into them expecting to win. You know what I mean? So I think it's massive in terms of confidence and morale as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite annoying how good a time they're having, to be honest. That makes me more annoyed.
They're having the kind of a season that we half had last year, except they're not as close to the title race.
And also they're not in the right competition to call it quad.
I'm a big fan of it being of getting a banner for Mickey Mouse quad.
You know what? I remember when we started first getting good, like when we got Wijnaldum in the team, Mane signed, we just started getting momentum and people started taking us seriously. I feel like that's them now. So they're not nowhere near City and us when at peak, but I just feel there's something that they've got the momentum.
There's like a start of something, doesn't it?
Yeah, we need to. They're a very physical team. It's going to be one in midfield, so therefore, like, Klopp can't be. This is, I might get stoned for this, but it can't. It's not a game for Harvey.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's a game for the big boys. But obviously, as much as I don't like to see Milner starting, because I just think we should be past that already. Thank you, Milner, for your service, but like, it shouldn't. When I saw him starting at Palace, I was like, oh, here we go. Yeah. But we have to dominate in midfield.
Well, we've had to rotate to be able to get to a position where we can win this game, to put the team out that he wants to put out for this game of football. So about that to say, I just want to point out one thing that's been quite funny about United is Ferguson still hanging around, and how they asked him, and he was like, basically just said, they need a striker. I can imagine you're about Weghorst, and the greatest legend of the football club has basically just come in and just said, you're a piece of shit, you, mate. Yeah, Man United will be great when they actually once they get a striker. Love it.
He's not wrong though, is he?
He's not wrong at all, Chris. But that's
touchwood then, that's a touchwood moment. That's a definite touchwood moment.
He's not wrong, yeah. I want to touch about a couple of the players and the positions and stuff. I want to start with Jota. So one of the debates we had on the final word was he's not ready to start this game because he's not quite clicked just yet. Now the counterpoint, maybe, Chris, is that he could have done all the preparation, and United is the game where he clicks.
Not for me. Gakpo is probably the guy who needs to come in. I felt last night against Wolves, the difference that Gakpo made, you just see it in that goal. He just comes on, his first touch is sublime. He plays Kostas Tsimikas in, and we're through on goal. Casemiro is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. He still is at the age that he is.
He had good games against us.
He's had good games against us for Real Madrid. And Martinez is really aggressive. And he's going to be the one that's on the centre forward. And he's got Casemiro in front. He's going to have Martinez behind. They are going to have 0.03 of a second to get the ball under control and get it popped off. So for me, it's Bobby Firmino or it's Gakpo.
I was about to say when you said
that. Because they are going to have no time. You can't play Darwin Núñez through there because his touch isn't good enough. Jota's touch isn't back yet. So they're the only two options for me. I'd go great in the air as well, which is important, I think, when you talk about Martinez. But the extra height, maybe, Gakpo, something like that as well. My thing with Bobby is, if he'd played a few games, I would absolutely be with you. But he's not. And he didn't play.
I just wondered to say him for this,
Chris. Did he play any minutes last night?
He come on for a little at the end. I wonder.
Did he? Yeah,
he come on.
Remember that?
I think they've been.
I'd be surprised personally.
I've got a sneaky feeling we've been saving Roberto Firmino for this one.
You're right, because I really do think he's.
I think
the right choice.
And I think I'd play him with the option of Jota and Gakpo off the bench. But listen, I agree. It can't be Jota for me. If it's not Bobby, then it is Gakpo. Because it's got to be someone who can hold the ball up and play with us back to goal. Because there's going to be a lot of that. They are a counter-attacking side, and I think they are going to let us have the ball. And I don't really think that is suiting Jota. I think Roberto Firmino. He's been on the bench for every game for a few weeks now. I think they're already starting to prime him up ready. I think that's the game for him. And he's and the Martinez thing's interesting, and the Casemiro stuff, because that's where what Firmino will do. He's happy to go even deeper than both of them. He's happy to go in front to Casemiro to get the ball. Gakpo has shown a willingness at times to be able to do that, but I don't think it's as natural to Firmino. Firmino can find himself playing centre mid, because you're right, he's got to go and find the space himself, and I think he'll just, we know
it's not about getting into the 10 position for Bobby.
He wants to get on the ball.
It's getting into space.
Yeah.
Getting on the ball.
And he'll go in front of Casemiro and he'll drop into that area. So I will go Firmino. It's a big, that's a hard role for whoever's going to play that number 9 against these, because they are Varane, Martinez, Casemiro ultimately,
and probably Fred. They'll box it out. They'll use a 4-man box.
But that's what I think. If anything, I think that Klopp will go with Jota, because it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be played wide. I just think that our strength right now is not through midfield, so we have to stay away from that. So I think that Darwin has to have that game. Yeah. This is that game.
And that's probably their weak point as well, right back.
Yeah, because he's going to be playing off the left, coming in. And then I think Jota is a person who's an opportunist. I feel he's just almost there.
Yeah.
And just from what I saw, look, the reaction he had to be able to, cross the ball back to Virgil for that, that shows me that you're there. And so I just think that it's going to be, we'll get opportunities, and it has to be someone who's lethal. So who are you going to put?
I can see it.
I think there's interesting conversations to be had around a couple of these for those exact reasons. You're right. There's not enough recent minutes for Bobby Firmino to say he comes back in. We've clearly been priming Jota, because in terms of a pecking order, they obviously see him as being in there. Salah and Darwin pick themselves in this regard, and it's just what else we're trying to do. What we're trying to do with the midfield, because I thought the Elliott thing was interesting, because I know we're a bit fearful of, does it leave the midfield open and what have you, but look at the positions he was taking up in an attacking sense. When Henderson plays that, he'll do a little bit more of he's a bit more box to box, isn't he? But he's more right-sided. Yeah. Elliott was finding space in the 10. Yeah. And that was, we talked when we did the top 5 United wins.
And is that as a consequence of Jota being up front, Paul?
Potentially, yeah, because not
having someone come into that space.
Exactly, you've got him pushing on, and then he's occupying the centre halves, and then all of a sudden there's Harvey Elliott getting little chest downs on the edge of the box, which
I would fancy, I'd fancy Casemiro to have Harvey Elliott.
Yeah,
if Casemiro plays on that side, I think that would be a really difficult ask for Harvey Elliott to go up against Casemiro.
I'll be honest, Fabinho and Bajcetic picked themselves. I think there isn't. I'm struggling.
I'm Hendo.
I'm struggling for the third. Part of me, I mean, I'm going Hendo, but I'm thinking Henderson more for the
defensive help and Trent.
A little bit of that, going just trying to have double. If Rashford's going to play,
Harvey's not going to.
If they're going to, is it Rashford's probably going to play left? You would think.
He'll play from the left.
He'll definitely play from left.
Goes through the middle, and probably Anthony on the right hand side,
or Sancho. Maybe they think of getting Sancho back in. So I agree. Whoever's got that right hand side midfield job, this is where it could be Milner again. Is that whoever's that right?
0% chance for me. Do you know what it'll be and what it should be? Because the reason why Harvey Elliott had a good game and the reason why he was picked is because he's got legs. He's not dead fast, but he's got running in him. He'll never give up. He'll never let someone go because he just can't be arsed. He'll go all day, and if you ask him to go up and down all day, he'll do that. He'll go and support the attack. Functionally, all of a sudden he fitted better what we needed, because we've tried to get energy back into the midfield, and Harvey Elliott's got it. I agree, it'll probably be Henderson, but I do wonder whether there's a little conversation over the next few days when they're looking at them in training and going, have you got this in you? Can you go? Can you go flat out in this football match? Because if you can, Henderson will get it. But if there's a little doubt that we're going to lose a bit of mobility or whatever, maybe there's an outside chance that Elliott gets the nod.
That's a hard job for Trent Alexander-Arnold if that's the case. To go up against Rashford on his own. A guy who's like, and I know you.
But he's not going up against them on his own. I don't like this idea.
But he is. I think if he's got Elliott, he is.
No, but I don't think. I just think that's overstated. I mean, you don't see anything to suggest Harvey Elliott doesn't get back and do the bit. He's not as physically robust as Jordan Henderson, and he's not as big, is he? But it doesn't matter if Jordan Henderson's gassed and he's 40 yards up the pitch.
Yeah, that's true.
Then Trent's fucked either way. It doesn't matter whether Jordan Henderson's got half a foot on him and is the captain or whatever. You're better off having someone who can literally physically get back in and help you out. I'm not saying it's necessarily Harvey, but I think that's the conversation they'll have, because they'll want that mobility and energy.
I'd be shocked if the team wasn't Trent, Canate, who I think is massively important for this game because of his speed going up against Rashford. Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Bajcetic on the left, Henderson on the right, Salah, Nunes, insert striker, and I think it will be Gakpo. I'd prefer it to be Bobby, but I'm not sure he is fit because I've never seen Klopp play someone in this game of this magnitude without a few minutes under about like a proper minutes. So I'd be shocked if that team was more than a player out, to be honest with you.
It's an interesting shot, it really is, and it's actually what a world to be in, where we can have a reasonable debate about 3 or 4 of the lads coming in. You can make a case for Costa starting again in this one, to be perfectly honest. I mean, Andy Robertson, I love Andy Robertson to bits, but because he's got twice as many assists as him this season. He's not as strong defensively,
Better
but
corner taker.
Yeah.
Better set piece taker.
I don't think. I mean, Simicast had a couple of little brain dead moments in the match, but also he's barely kicked the ball for us in recent weeks as well. I thought he handled that game pretty well. And let's be honest, you know, Adama Traore comes on, but he's an Adama Traore shaped handful. You know,
Simicast absolutely rinses him with that shoulder barge. Doesn't make it, you know, stick because he's not looking when Alisson passes him the ball and the ball rolls out of play. But what a shoulder barge! That was glorious against Adama Traore.
This definitely has to be a physical game. I might be on the other side of a popular opinion here, but with Gakpo, he hasn't really won me over just yet. I think he's still finding his way in this league. I just feel like he comes alive when Núñez is playing. I think Núñez brings out the best of him, but like himself, I haven't seen anything that I thought.
I don't know that he's the goal threat enough yet.
Nah.
And you know,
like Jota, when he came in, straight away, he was just like, "Wow, we've got something here."
And it's we were looking at this earlier. Actually, Jota's, I think he's got our 3rd highest assists this season.
Wow,
he's got 6 assists
that's
so far
crazy.
this season.
I can totally understand. I can totally understand Andre's points here. I think I think a lot of people that I've spoken to are the same as you. To be honest with you, I think I don't know whether it's underwhelmed, but like for me, when I look at a player like that, I'm like, oh, I can see it, and I'm trying to think, oh, this is what he's gonna be. Yeah. But like some people don't watch it the same way as I do. Some people go, Jota came in and went bang, fucking goals. You know, that's what you want from a centre forward. So I can totally understand that. And that's why people have those opinions that differ, isn't it? Because
they make chaos, both of those. Yeah,
the
like
slow
Núñez and him make chaos, and that's what you need.
You feel in terms of a goal threat, it's Núñez, Jota, Salah is the one of it, and is the one where you think that's probably got the most goals, isn't it? Right now, obviously with Luis Diaz still on the sideline. So I get it. I think if he plays Henderson, then he'll play Jota. Because he'll need that goal threat because he's got 3 lads in midfield who never score. Excuse me. So if he's going to play Jordan Henderson, he'll probably play Jota. I think if he's going to play Gakpo or Firmino, then he might play a little bit more of an attacking, whether it be an Elliott or just because he can trust Gakpo or Firmino to drop in and make it a 4. So I think that they rely on each other a little bit, but it's the battle for this game, mate. And we know for now everyone, and it's easy to say, but like. It's Rashford versus Alexander-Arnold. I think where this game is going to be won and lost ultimately. I know I'm right in saying because you've got a show coming out on that, haven't you?
Yeah, it's literally titled that.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. So I don't want to step on it too much, but like,
in fact, that might be a better title. It might now be getting called Rashford versus Alexander-Arnold
because that's the game. Whoever wins that battle, you've got a massive chance because he's their best player. He's the most informed player probably in the Premier League. If he's not there, I don't know who else is really. There's a couple of them. He's done well against Trent Alexander-Arnold in the past. So that's where the game I think is going to be won and lost. That's why I say Ibu being back, you mentioned before, is a massive help. God help him. He's got the pace to get over there. I think Liverpool. I really like us focusing on how to stop them. I'd rather us go and impose. How do we impose ourselves on them?
Well, it's the forever thing. You know, we said this about Manchester City. You don't worry about how to stop Erling Haaland. You worry about how to stop Kevin De Bruyne, and you look at where the service is coming for Rashford. And a lot of it's so fast. It's so fast that they're just twatting it over the top, and that's maybe just being a bit more balanced in how we do things. And that, you're right. That's Canate.
You can do your own heading, focus on them. How do you get at them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the balance. That's the thing.
I don't think we should be worried about like us going forward. I think that we've got more than enough options. But it is definitely defensively like that. You know, if let's say in theory you play Harvey Elliott, you're going to be leaving Trent and Ibu on their own. And I just think that Rashford is when the player's hot, they're hot. And I just think you've got to give them the respect. And I think that what Hendo does, he may not be obviously what he was before, but he's positional player through experience. He's going to know where to be. Yeah. Look, and I think he'll tuck in a bit more.
He should be. Look, Jordan Henderson should be in this side. You know, that's what he is. You don't sign it. You're not the club captain for no reason. He's when the chips are down, you want him in the side because he is a safe pair of hands in that stuff and he can influence the game. I just think it would be an interestingly brave decision because I think it might look a bit crazy, but I just thought, Wolves are quite a robust midfield out, and I know they're nowhere near the
They have
quality.
no goal for it though.
But what I mean is they're a dirty physical side, and I thought Pochettino and Elliott stood up quite well to that. I think United will do.
How many
similar
times
things.
has a Premier League side put a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old in centre midfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what drives a lot of the fans mad because it's you're putting a lot of faith in young heads, and I think that we need to right now if we're looking
Put
at
it in old heads.
put it in old heads
Because everyone's dead happy with that.
I do love you, Milner, but I just think that we've just really got to make sure that we are stopping their attack.
I'll be honest, I don't think
threats.
any of the options are ideal for that role. I think I'm signed with the back four and I'm signed with whatever version the front three goes with. And I'm
It's almost like we need a midfielder, Steve.
Yeah,
Now everyone sees what Genie used to do, and this is the problem. It's like,
If anyone-
oh, what does he do? Also, sorry, side subject. Man United fans, or I've heard in a few forums that some of them have been saying that Rashford is the best player in the world. Relax, just relax. He's not in any form of way. This is getting clipped, isn't it?
Yeah. He's in great form. He is in. I think he's been fantastic. But yeah, it's like it's hyperbole. Everyone does it a little bit. He is brilliant, and that's what this. Going back to my other point, I don't think it's fair on Trent Alexander-Arnold to say against Wolves where you said Liverpool picked two kids in midfield because ultimately Trent had to stop Matheus Nunes 1-on-1, and he'll fancy that Wolves can't score. You're now asking him to go 1-on-1 against. He might not be the best player in the world, but he's certainly one of the most informed players in the world.
Yeah.
That's a big ask for that. You could have any right back in the world in his prime, and that'd be a hard challenge.
No, God, absolutely. I mean, look, this is one of those games though where we forget these are the games when Mo Salah tracks back. Because it becomes one of those all-in efforts where Darwin.
I love those games. I love those games when Salah's digging in and you're like,
yes,
playing
Man United. His record against Man United is stupid.
10 goals in 11 games against Manchester
Stupid.
United for Mo Salah.
Wow.
Long may that continue, certainly. There we had a few
Well, no,
comments.
get better.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I've just looked at one of them lights.
Quinton Class has gone big in the comments. One of our members here on YouTube says, Jota should start. I want the same front three, please. Jota will give them questions. I want the same team to start. He's really, really keen on that. And he also says, Harvey will believe me test Casemiro. Yeah, again, I'm not going to, I don't want to over-labour the point because we've all made our points on it. No one's going to be changed or convinced. It doesn't matter. Klopp will pick who we want and we'll get behind it regardless. But it will be interesting that Jordan Henderson stopped being picked for the big games last season. And he's favoured Naby. He's not going to favour Naby in this one. So is there someone who
Naby
does...
picked up a knock.
Yeah.
He does that.
Shock.
After his hooking at half-time, he's not available for the next game.
But it is that thing of do we want more? Do we want someone? Do we want our right side at 8 to be, when we think about what we're going to do to damage them, do we want someone who goes and overloads on the right wing, or do we want someone who's going to offer a threat from the 10? And that'll be interesting to see what balance he's asking for that, because Jordan doesn't do the latter.
Can I ask you guys a question? Just why do we have to keep on playing the same formation?
Because
we don't have the players for it.
Well, we don't have players for any formation if you're going to be like that.
Do you remember the other formation that we had? I'm not going to name it or whatever it was. Like there's only like two formations he plays, like 4-3-2,
4-2-3-1 a little bit.
Yeah,
4-2-4.
We played 4-4-2.
Like I just think
Four
that
attackers,
we need more bolstering in midfield and less up front. Like, I just think that you could actually just play two up front. And then have more depth in
he has used that like diamond formation a couple of times.
The problem with the diamond is you get killed on the flanks. And then the problem with 4-4-2 is that you've got no pace to play in your left or right midfield.
When
so
you
you're playing Darwin Núñez as a left midfielder to do that. You could play 4-2-2-2, which we've done a few times. 4-3-3 is still content. It's the best we've got because it's the one we've trained the most as much as anything else.
And that I think you're right there. And I think actually it matches up quite well to them. And this is something me and Josh cover on tomorrow's show. But like, if you just picture in your head a 4-2-3-1, which is what they're playing, and a 4-3-3, man to man, you're actually against somebody there against United.
Yeah.
Because we are two midfielders are advanced, they're two are deep. Like if you start messing around with that now, like it matches up quite well.
And look, 4-2-3-1 when we're attacking against Wolves, we're playing 4-2-3-1 because Harvey Elliott's playing in the 10 effectively. So it's much more. It's situation. I get your point.
No.
When you've got the perfect clock midfield who's full of energy and legs, you'll never question it for a single second. When it looks knackered, it looks like it's all going to crumble apart.
Formations, I think, I'll be honest, and I talk about them a lot, are massively over talked about because it's not about staying in your formation throughout an entire game. We mentioned it before. It's about finding space on the field.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to go and do. And in a defensive sense, it's cutting space off and cutting passing lanes off. That's what it is. So you've got rough areas of the field where you're supposed to be, but ultimately you're just down to shut space off and find space. That's as simple as it is.
Scott Hawks in the live show chat has just gifted 20 Redmen TV YouTube memberships.
Wow!
I know, God, there we go. Like Sylvie Ray, you get a membership. Wally 77, Antonio, the Crosby Vlogger's just been gifted a membership. Go ahead.
Crosby
O'Kelly,
Vlogger.
Ben Lorraine, Georgia Fuller,
Did
Peter
you just say
Howell.
Bed Lorraine?
Bed Lorraine, whatever you want to do with her. Michael Toth, Paul Lennon, Ben Moole.
I don't know.
He's a big fan of Freet as well.
I don't know. You could gift YouTube members.
Yeah. Scott's done it a couple of times. So he gave 10 out the other week.
Yeah, Scotty.
Scott's a legend.
He said, my version of bringing cake to the office on your birthday. Does that mean it's your birthday?
Happy birthday. It is his birthday. You mentioned this yesterday.
Happy birthday to
Happy birthday, Scott.
I feel he's been a little undersold by the camera work there. Happy birthday, Scott! Exceptional stuff. Oh, he's done loads. Right, brilliant. Absolutely incredible. Incredible stuff. Okay, so let's have some score predictions before we wrap up on this one. Sorry. Oh,
Don't be the first person.
No, fucking to be
I was
fair,
eating crisps.
sorry, but Ruby texted me this week and went, see, I told you it'd be a draw. I was like, oh. Bad.
I think it'll be a 2-1. 2-1 to us. Yes. I've got a feeling it'll be Henderson who scores the winner. For a bonus point, if there is that.
Madness.
Oh, you definitely get a bonus point. I really want to say 2-1, but I think 1-1. I know.
We either win these games well or we draw 0-0. Is what going back to we've not lost since 2016 here. That's exactly how it's gone. We've had 2 0-0 draws in the last 5.
I'm gonna go 3-1 to Liverpool.
Steve?
I was thinking 1-1, but fuck it. I've had a drink.
You've said that before, Steve, haven't you?
I went to meet Santa. No, 5-1.
Fuck off.
No, obviously I'm joking. I think we'll win 2-1 then. Let's go 2-1.
I think 3-1. I don't think we're going to stop Marcus Rashford from scoring. I think that'll be what'll happen, but I'm not sure on the timing of that. I don't mind the idea of them getting a little like the Shaq 3-1 game where they get a little sniff and feel like it's all their day. As long as we don't concede the first goal in that, I don't mind it going 1-1 and then us just going flex and go and win it. I could be very happy.
Tough game.
Right, we're going to be doing Redmen Uncensored immediately after this, so if you want to have a chat and listen to us chat shite about life, the universe and everything, then you can come over to Redmen Plus and use the code TMP, as mentioned before. That'll either get you a free month or 50% off, depending on whether Steve's done his job or not.
No, sorry, right, okay, wow, you threw me under the bus now. You couldn't read the offer code, right, so now I've
read the offer code, it's right
from
here.
From your agenda that
from
you
the
put
agenda.
Together, like you made. There's a big fucking poll. Oh, forget it. I'll make it free. It doesn't cost me no money. It's just yours. So I don't give a fuck.
Got your backs. Make sure you use the code because Steve's going to change it to me money from next month. Next week, so make sure if you want to get your free code, use it now. Right, sounds. Right before we go, Jay, where can people follow you in the meantime?
Oh, you can follow me on Dre365 on Instagram and at Alternative Sport and most of all vergemagazine.co.uk.
Boss, we're going to be talking about those things in Uncensored. I want to pick your brain on. You've been rubbing shoulders with celebrities, and I'm really jealous of one in particular.
Is it Kay Adams?
I don't know who that is.
Google it. She's an incredible journalist.
No,
the perfect woman.
It's a future Avenger.
Oh God, of course it would be.
The future Avenger.
I do
Just saying.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Right, Sam, thank you so much for joining us for Thursday Night Pint. It will return at 7 p.m. next week. Of course, the full show is exclusive on YouTube, so yeah, do join us this time next week. It should be a good laugh again. Other than that, we shall see you on Uncensored in a bit.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed that show. I'm sure you did. If you want even more amazing Red Men content in your ears or in your eyes, come and join us over on redmenplus.com. We've got absolutely amazing interviews, features, documentaries, and even more of the shows like you've just watched. So yeah, head on over to redmenplus.com and become a Red Men Plus club captain or club legend. I promise you won't regret it.